What can help? Be the content creator. And I think Saksi is a classic example. Get traditional and new media to refer to the research and reports, exposés done by your website, your blogs, etc. CSOs need to use social media effectively. I believe my colleagues from Malaysia later will cover some of this in their presentation. We need to also tap into champions among media practitioners, especially younger journalists and male allies. I just want to give a shout out to people like Tamina Kauzji, to people like Tashni Sukumaran for doing, for creating interest in women as journalists among not just journalism, but also in public. Interested journalists need to alert editors of press statements and developing issues. Young journalists keep up with the buzz on social media. They are also probably less insular about issues. They can persuade or push the editors. Then their interest on the part of the journalists go a long way, even if the editors are not sensitized, even if the environment is still patriarchal. How about trainings? I know some journalists balk at this idea. There's webinar fatigue. We can try to link it to current context. For example, I think people are talking about like women and the pandemic, to just give an example. Some journalists, including editors that CSOs don't know personally, they sometimes don't like to be told what to do, even if they're not aware of new developments, even if they don't know how to look at women's issues from multiple angles. But that can be changed. We can use, that can be changed and it can happen. One way with which to do it is to maybe get power brunch discussions. This doesn't have to be led by the CSOs. It can be led by business women. One person who comes to mind is Mina Chia from The Body Shop, who has been supportive of women's issues. There can be women activists, theatre personalities who can support women's leadership in the newsroom and continue to push newsroom and editors to talk about women's issues, to talk about gender issues. Can some business lead this collaboration so the championing also happen outside of women's groups? CSOs, don't be afraid of pitching ideas. Don't be let down if it gets rejected. Develop good relationship with activists and with journalists, including editors, to spark and maintain their interest to cover this topic. Link issues to current concerns. For example, I know that there was one discussion on the weekend about women precariat workers during the pandemic. I thought that's a really good example of how to use current context, to link it to women's issues, to link it to equality, rights, and gender justice. One last point, public complaints. They're powerful. If newsrooms don't listen to the editors, if newsrooms don't listen to civil society organizations, women activists, telling them to change, they will listen to the public.